Yes, it is finally, he is finally here in the fog with the entity, with Michael, with Freddy, with Leatherface, and with all the other horror icons that are in Dead by Daylight where he belongs, baby. Yeah! What's going on, my fellow warriors? Always remember to make sure you conquer something today. And we also now know that last night's on 5/22, DBD had a stream up where you just saw a cabin just sitting there in the middle of the woods, and every now and then you'd have a guy at one point roll a bike. You had a raven land on it, then fly towards you. You heard some I guess what we know now is counselors arriving at the campsite, and then singing some jingles and whatever have you be. But the stream just stared at a cabin for 13 hours. I watched some of it last night, and I was watching other streamers watch some of it, and everybody talking about what it could be and whatever have you be. They released another video that made people think it might be Slender Man. I didn't think it was going to be Slender Man at all. I don't think Slender Man was big enough for a 10-year anniversary. But Jason Voorhees, somebody we thought we would never get in Dead by Daylight, was somebody who we thought was going to be a big. It had to be somebody big. And when they dropped the one trailer, it looked like it was going to be Pennywise, but we were all wrong. I think when he said, when in that trailer it said you belong to it, I think he's talking about the entity. A couple other people thought he was talking about the entity. And it turns out I think that's what he was definitely talking about, unless we get a dual chapter. Don't think that's going to happen, though. But yes, we are getting Jason Voorhees. Do we know if it's a brand new killer? I'm pretty sure it is, the way that they they did it. I thought it was going to, maybe we might get a skin for the Trapper that's just that looks exactly like Jason or something. No, we're getting Jason. So for years, it's been always brought up in questionnaires or interviews with Matthew Cote, the person who made Dead by Daylight.
I think we did a pretty good job so far.
He is the game director of Dead by Daylight. And he said for years that he's been wanting to have Jason in. He would love to have Jason in the DBD universe. But here's the thing, right? When DBD came out, Friday the 13th, the game also came out. So they couldn't get the license then, which is why we pretty much got Trapper. Trapper was basically like a Wish.com Jason. Then they made him into his own, gave him his own lore, and, started really doing lore stuff. And that, so that's what we had, He said he wanted to get the real Jason in many times, but the problem was because of the lawsuit between, make sure I get these right, the producer and director Sean Cunningham of the Friday 13th series, and the original screenwriter for the first Friday 13th, Victor Miller, which the lawsuit ended with Miller regaining the domestic U.S. rights to his original 1980 screenplay, while Sean Cunningham retained the rights to elements of the sequels and adult Jason Voorhees. So, in 2016, Victor Miller utilized the provision of the U.S. copyright law that allows the author to reclaim his rights to their work after 35 years. Cunningham sued Miller, claiming Miller wrote the original screenplay as an employee under the work for hire contract, meaning the rights belonged to the production. And then in 2018, the verdict was a federal judge ruled in Miller's favor, determining he was the independent contractor rather than an employee. The second U.S. Court of Appeals affirms this in 2021, and the case ended. The Supreme Court declined to hear the appeal. So basically, who owns what? Like, Victor Miller now owns the U.S. copyright and original story, including Camp Crystal Lake, the name Jason Voorhees as a child, and the character of Pamela Voorhees, while Sean Cunningham and Horror Inc. owns international rights to the first film, rights to the iconic adult hockey mask wearing Jason in the later sequel films. So, and New Night Cinema, Warner Bros. Owns the trademark for the title Friday the 13th and related merchandising. Because of a lawsuit. You know, it forced Friday 13th the game to shut down. 20. But the biggest problem was that because of when the lawsuit ended, it fractured ownership structure and initially made it difficult for studios to navigate, to make fresh content, basically, get the rights from the right person. So that's what that was. Well, they must have finally figured out who they had to go to get Jason, and you had to do the iconic hockey mask Jason. I will say, gotta have, you know, gotta be a little bit criticism, but is this Jason what we're getting? Because I'm not gonna lie, I am a very nerdy person when it comes to horror, and I've watched Friday the 13th movies. I can't count how many times since I was like 12 years old. I don't hate the mask, but I also don't like, I mean, the 2 holes are missing from the side. 2, that basically almost makes a frown. But, you know, he kind of looks kind of scrawny. But, you know, we're going to take what we can get. It might look better as soon as the game comes out. We will see. Comes out June 16th, baby. Yeah. So, I'm excited. I know I'm personally excited. I've been waiting for Jason for a while. Jason belongs in Dead by Daylight. Jason should have been in Dead by Daylight. He belongs to be with his brothers Michael, Freddy, Cenobite, you know, Pig, Chucky, you know, all of them, Freddy, Leatherface, you know, all them classic horror slashers. They were missing one, and now they got him. So this is definitely Dead by Daylight. It will never die. And I'm all here for it. I enjoy the game. As you guys can tell, if you watch my streams, you see me stream it a lot. If it's not Call of Duty, it's usually Dead by Daylight. So, you know, definitely make sure you check that out. But, fellow Warriors, let me know what you think. Are you excited for Jason to be in the Friday 13th? Jesus Christ. Are you excited to see Jason in Dead by Daylight? I know I am. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who probably are. This might bring more game sales, or people come back. Maybe we'll see what happens. We'll see how long we get until we get sick of playing against him as Survivor. But, you know, it'd be what it be. But I'm excited. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you excited for Jason? Are you disappointed in Jason being there? Let me know. And if you enjoyed this kind of thing and you want me to bring more Dead by Daylight news to this channel, by all means, I would love to start doing that. But let me know by hitting that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more or any other gameplay. Check out another video that's in the playlist. So, that being said, always remember, be great to yourself, be good to others, tell somebody you care about, and make the day better. Trust me, and let's remind everybody whose platforms these are with everybody typing RTW. See you in the fog.